Morning, and for me it's a Sunday morning, and again I'm in the shed. It's a better day today. We've had a storm and everything recently. The old Corona is chucked outside to give me a bit of room. I'm going to be doing the booster with this, which is going to upset a lot of people. Poor old Mediocre got the new pedal wavy discs put on, whichever you want to call them, and the weather's been that bad because I'm a bit of a tart that I haven't taken Mediocre out. I'm hoping later on this morning I'll get out. But first, I want to fit this, which is definitely going to upset a few people. There you go. It's a Givi Rack from a Hayabusa, so I can put a top box on my booster, making it more versatile for going to and fro work. I've said before, and I'll say again, I'm not one for putting a rucksack on. I'd much rather just have a rack and put a top box on. And I agree with all those that say that is sacrilege, putting a top box on a booster. I totally agree with that. Aesthetically, it's going to uglify it. It's going to take some of the beauty away, which is undeniable. I mean, that is gorgeous. And then to put a top box on it is definitely sacrilege. But, as I say, last week we had a storm and we had more than plenty of rain, and there were several mornings I needed to be taking stuff to work. So I was using the Corona with the top box. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, I was using the Corona with a top box rather than being able to take the booster. And I want the functionality and freedom to use both. And I ordered this months ago, but there was none in the country apparently. I tried several sites. In the end I got it from Branded Biker. It was slightly cheaper as well. This was 123 quid for a couple of lengths of metal and a few nuts and bolts. So I've waited a few months for this. I'm so patient. But yeah, as I say, I want the functionality, and I'm not one for putting a rucksack on. The versatility of a top box is, in my mind, I love it. I love it. And also the versatility of a top box is, if you want to take more stuff, you can have a top box and a rucksack. But all those times that you're only putting stuff in the top box, you ain't got anything on your back. And that's probably just a me thing. Well, there might be a few of you that agree with that, but yeah, it's personal preference. And as I say, I am disgusted with myself for doing this. Nevertheless, I'm still going to do it. So I'll get some tools together. It's lucky there's pictures on the instructions so I can read it. Yeah, I'll get some tools together, get set up, and show you how fat bloke fits a rack to a Busa on a Sunday morning. If you stay watching, hopefully you will, and you'll enjoy it, maybe. Bits and pieces at the ready. We need a 12mm spanner, 13mm socket. I say we, it's me, innit? 5mm Allen, and a 6mm Allen. And then my hump off. And then I'll probably want more tools. I think it's these that come out. Right, where's that bit of paper with the pictures on? There it is. Right, this has got to come out, and that one, which hasn't got a bolt in anyway. Has got the desired, it's like a spacer, metal spacer in there. So it's got to have the nut underneath it. No, it hasn't. That goes through the bracket. Oh jeez, how is that fixing then? Is that is that threaded? It is threaded. How did they know? Why have they just put a threaded hole? Is there something missing? You shouldn't just have a threaded hole, open threaded hole in your bike, should you? Anyway, this needs to come off. Like that. And then let's get this bracket in place first, which goes there like that. What's happening here? So is that one as well? Has to come out. And then there should be... No, I'm missing bits. I'm a bit confused, to say the least. Big washer there. There should be a spacer. 15 is original part. But I don't understand. I'm going to have to come back in a minute when I hopefully do understand. Right, the problem was this bracket here sits on here, and what they're saying in the instructions is you've got this spacer, and they're saying 15 is original equipment. Well, there's nothing in there. Nothing in there. And what it's saying is that you got like a top hat spacer that will sit in there, and it will obviously clamp that to that and hold it down with their bolt. But these are the only instructions. The thing that they're on about is under here, quality instructions. So we don't need that. What we need is the top hat spacer. It's fantastic, isn't it? But they don't tell you that. They just let you get on with it. So you want to that on there, and then that goes in there, and then the big bolt, the longer bolt, winds into there, and the shorter bolt winds into there. But nowhere on the instructions does it say take that top hatty thing out of this hole and stick it in that hole. So if you're doing this, which you're probably not, you're probably just crying at me for doing it to mine, but if you are doing this, then let's leave them a little bit loose. Bear that in mind. So now we've got the bracket on the back. I think we can introduce the arm. Hello arm, how are you? We want a spacer and a bolt. Is that all we want? Bolt through there, through the spacer. No washers, no nothing. So that way, and then that through there, that on there, and that goes to there. Clean that up there, and then we want a small mushroom head. Is it the small one or the big one? It's got to be the big one, isn't it? Yeah, 35mm. 35mm button head. And a washer. And that goes through there. So washer on there. And then we want the only nut. Is there another washer going on the back? Oh no, that's for that one. So that goes. Why is that threaded? That's threaded and that's threaded. Why do we need a threaded hole in the bar? Oh, we need to bolt it anyway. It's here. That's what I'm looking for. So that goes through there, screws into there. So I could have done that before. I think this was the bit that might not be to my taste. It's bad enough having the rack on there, let alone these big handles. It can go like that. Let's put a nut on just to make that sound easy. Like that. Oops. And then we want the shorter one. Shorter button head and a washer through here. So on the other side I'll probably pre-fit the handle. Save a bit of messing about. Not sure I like the handle. I ain't going to get a socket on that, am I? 13mm spanner, not a socket. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm liking the handles. I ain't going to take a passenger. So and is it going to help me pulling the bike around? Yeah, I'm not liking the handle. But if you're fitting the handle, that's how it goes. I don't have pillion insurance cover, so I'll throw that down there. Yeah, that's ugly. As I say, it's going to be ugly enough with the rack on it, let alone sticking two big black handles out the side. Rid myself of those. Which would probably mean I want different bolts, because the bolts would be too long. Well, not by much. Yeah, let's try that. Let's try that without the handle. Ooh, that is rather large. I think it'll be hidden away under here. Oh, there's not much going to be sticking out with the nut on it. Yeah, I think that's better. That's the wrong one for that. Fool. Doesn't it your plastic, does it? No. So I think that would be better than having this big ugly handle sat out the side. As I say, I don't take pillions. I'm not insured for pillions. So why try and make them comfortable? They can suffer if I ever take one. But there you go. There's the left hand side with a few nuts and bolts left over. Went completely blank there. Right, I'll get the other arm and bring you back in a minute when I'm doing the other side. Already put that bolt in there, ready for sticking on the bracket. Need that. So we want this out of here. I say, not in the instructions, so I really did think there was something missing when I couldn't find this. But it's not missing, they just ain't telling you where they're getting it from. So big washer on there, then the bracket, then the top atty thing, and then which bolt was it? The long one through there, and the short one through there. And that's a bit loose. That's a bit better. And it does hold it off the plastic, so not ruining that. That's the wrong Allen key for that. Then this. That's your is that a luggage? That's a luggage tie down, isn't it? No, I think it is. So that like that, and then we want the big Allen bolt through the end hole. And a spacer on that, which fits conveniently into the hole we've just created. Like that. And then we can screw this one through there, which will hold that on. In there. Right, so I want the nut on the back of this bolt. In there. Just loose. Like that. And then the next bit of the puzzle will be this, which is the toilet seat. That fits exactly on there. This was, I think this was 30 quid, 30 quid, but the difference with this one over my usual flat plate is you can actually put a lock through there, and that's the holding strap to stop it rattling, so you can pull it tight so it doesn't rattle when not in use. Yeah, so you can put a, what they called, a U-lock in through there, hold it all together. And definitely don't drop bits, especially when you don't know exactly how many bits you've dropped. I think it was 2. I'm going for 2. I'll search for that. Alright, I've got the fixing kit and required tools to hand. And it should be a simple process. No, said that too soon. Simple process of passing these bolts through. It's a bit more awkward with the slot for the rack. There's quite the drop between, but not a lot more awkward. And then big washer and a nut underneath. Again, I'll leave that a bit loose. Oh, that's an awkward little gap. Dropped it. Useless. Yeah, that is a tad awkward. Yeah, that would have been easier without gravity. And to the other side. One like that. Get the nut and washer straight on. No, drop in. Got it. Oh, yeah. Oh, stop doing that. Why are you more awkward than the other side? Dropped it. God damn you, gravity. Right. Gravity. Butterfingers. Oh, go on then. Go on then. Be down there. Oh, don't hide though. Oh no. Under my ramp. Take me longer to do them 4 bolts than put the arms on. Redunculous. What a pathetic specimen. Well, that's it. Well, that's not it. Let's see if the cowl still goes on. It should. I'll say it should it? Oh, there's the downside. Can't have your cowl on. Cowl, hump. Can't have the hump on. Oh, I'm giving up a lot for this. Giving up a lot just to have a rack to make my life convenient. Yeah. That's not very good. That's not very good. It's a little bit upsetting. It's a little bit upsetting. You're definitely in there, aren't you? Yeah. Oh. That's very unfortunate. The other thing to do is probably cut a bit off. Oh, that's I was going to say that's animal, but for the things I have done to bikes, that's alright. That's definitely sitting under there. Come back a bit. It's just not going to have it, is it? Oh, very unfortunate. And I don't think it is this bit that's stopping it. This edge. I think there's something here. No, I'm lying. I thought there was something here knocking onto this one. That is quite tall though, isn't it? don't. It's definitely not hitting on this bracket this side, so I think it's where that bolt is set up a bit too much. It's hitting on the underside, so cutting the edge off ain't going to make any difference. The other thing to try is whether the actual seat will go on, because if that don't go on, the rack will have to come off. There you go. Yeah, seat goes on. It'll have to be the seat then, wouldn't it? Oh, that is unfortunate. It's the hump on the back that gives it... I don't know why I'm on about aesthetics. I'm fitting the top box to it. I still wanted my hump on the back though. Anyway, there you go. There's a Hayabusa with a Givi Rack on it, which it's a shame about. Oh, shame about the hump. It's a little bit upsetting. You're probably getting that now. I've said it enough times. I think overall that doesn't look too bad with the rack on it. I mean, it's going to look horrendous with the top box on it. That, I'm sorry, but that is sacrilege, and function over aesthetics in this particular case. So yeah. So I'm not sorry if that upsets people. And I know it will upset people. It's a little bit upsetting to me, but I do like having a top box. To be fair to me, the owner, my choice. There you go. That's fitting a Givi Rack. Have I got a number for it? 541FZ. Yeah, 541FZ-KZ541 is the rack that I've fitted. I don't know the number of the. Yeah, there's no numbers on the packaging. Don't know the numbers of this, but that's the one I chose. Usually I just have a flat plate to take the top box, but I've chosen this one with the idea of getting a U-lock. Just convenient to take it with me. I don't know if I'd ever use it. Always a bit worried about forgetting it's on there. But yeah, anyway, there you go. There's me in my shed on a Sunday morning, ruining, mutilating a Hayabusa just for my own selfish functionality needs. I'm disgusting. You can tell me how disgusting I am down in the comments. But that's what I've done, and that's what I'm going to live with. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, think about it. And for all those regulars, thank you very much for being there. Glad to hear Mr. Rossi's on the mend. Glad to still get the banter from Black Dot Killer. And was it Thomas? Let me just check on my phone. There was a guy, B Thomas I think it was, that's done some commenting. Let me scroll finger. I think it's got a little blue icon. Where are you, my man? Hey, Thomas. There you go. He commented on the booster fell over. You fell over. Yeah, the booster fell over, and he said about leaving it in gear, and I've been doing that ever since. Which is, I don't know that it's been necessary, but it does give me that peace of mind that it can't go forward. So I'll put it in gear and push it up till it stops on that gear, because you get a bit of movement, and then put the stand down. So it can't go backwards because the stand won't let it, and it can't go forward because it's in gear. So thank you for that comment. So obvious, so easy. So I did it, and it's in gear now. It's in gear now. This is not far. It was only up there a bit that it fell over. So and I put a bit of block of wood underneath it to hoik it up a little bit. I don't think I even had the wood underneath it last time, so I couldn't even blame that. I just hadn't put the stand down fully, and it fell over. But now I'll leave it in gear. So thank you to the regulars, thank you to the irregulars, and hope that was of some interest to someone. As I say, the instructions weren't as full as necessary, I don't think, there. With using original parts, you'd think they'd come out the same hole that the new bolt's going in, but it didn't. Anyway, that is it. I think I'm going to go in and have a bit of breakfast. What's the time? 9 o'clock, yeah. I think I'm going to have a bit of breakfast. And then what's next? What's next? Poor old Mediocre with the new discs on. Hasn't been out. Hopefully later on today. And then I've got new tyre for the back of the Corona. So that was something I noticed when I put the chain and sprockets on it. So I've got to do that. And I think the brakes want bleeding. In the rain, now I know the discs are going to be cold and wet, but it just seemed like I'd lost initial lever for too long. That's weird hand movement. So I'm going to check that out. The booster, I've got new levers coming for the booster, shorty levers, because the span on this is the shortest span, and it's just a bit too much, and you've only got to touch it like that and it's on. So for the slow manoeuvres, I'm finding that I'm jamming it on too much. So I'm going to go with shorty levers, which I pretty much do with all my bikes anyway. I was trying to leave the booster original, he says, putting a rack on it, and risers, and how else have I ruined it? That's it so far, isn't it? Heated grips to come. But yeah, it shortens the span. You can obviously see it comes in there. These are 6-way adjustable, and it's just nice. But the brakes on Mediocre and the booster have got next to no movement, whereas the Corona, it's almost quarter of a lever, half a lever. Can't be half. About quarter of a lever, which seems excessive before you start getting the feel of the brakes on. And as I say, in the rain the other day, I lost that little bit. So it was like, oh, I've got no brakes, and then I had to pull in a bit harder. And by then, you've obviously gone on a bit too far, and you need more brakes. So it was pretty much jamming them on. So I want to check the brakes on that. Anyway, that's immaterial to this particular video. I've done the rack. Applaud me, berate me, whatever you want in the comments. I don't mind. And hopefully I'll see you again, or you'll see me again, especially if you subscribe, in the next video. Thanks for being there. Ta-ra. And just a little footnote, end note, whatever you want to call it, before anyone starts saying, and thanks very much for getting this far if you're still watching. I've just been through and Loctited all the bolts that didn't have a lock nut on, So those two there and that one there have been Loctited now, thread locked should I say, and they've all been done up. So yes, I did go back and do that off camera because I thought you must be bored enough of my voice and my pathetic goings on. Anyway, there you go. I did do it. Don't have a go at me.